How do you do? How do you do? We welcome you to another FIBA Olympics 2024 chat. I'm Chris Sylvester, happy to take you through one of the top basketball matchups on the docket today. Just getting started, it is France and Germany. Of course, France coming off of that almost miraculous comeback against Japan to avoid an upset loss in their most recent game. Germany, they were in a dogfight through one half against Brazil. And both of these teams coming off victories. I tell you what, I think a lot of people were surprised by the potential factor that Germany is a favorite in this game, a 4-point favorite, as we've played almost a minute here in Paris. I think a lot of people had France, if there were a team to maybe surprise some people and take out the United States, which doesn't appear to be a huge possibility, at least for now. But I tell you what, this is a France team that with their defense, the two towers inside, so to speak, with Rudy Gobert and, of course, the youngster, the great Victor Wembanyama. So excited to see his rise. I've had people tell me that by the time the Olympics come to Los Angeles in 2028, that they think Victor Wembanyama is going to have at least one MVP. He might have a finals appearance or a deep playoff run under his belt. And certainly excited to see what these Olympic Games, right? Because he didn't get to play on much of a big stage with the San Antonio Spurs in his rookie season. They wound up being a lottery team again, and they might be a lottery team for one more year. But Victor Wembanyama, the biggest stage he's been on in his young professional life, and I think the expectations are high for him. First 2 points for France, courtesy of Victor Wembanyama's front court teammate, Rudy Gobert, who won another Defensive Player of the Year this season in the National Basketball Association with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Of course, came up with the Utah Jazz. And against this Germany squad, how electric were the Wagner brothers? They were absolutely fantastic. And they have led the charge here for Team Germany. Just getting underway. Let us know where you're watching the game from. We'd love to hear from you on the stream. Also, who are you pulling for? Did you take that France money line with a little bit of juice in a good way on it? Or do you think Germany is 4-point favorites here against the hosts, right? Do you think Germany has a chance to pull through? A lot of people like what this Germany squad has put together. Of course, they gave the United States a solid run. And we'll just have to wait and see how they fare here against France. Early 4-2 lead for France. Evan Fournier, who's been bouncing around quite a bit, most recently with the Knicks, and then was dealt. Of course, Dennis Schroeder, how electric has he been with back-to-back 2-point shots to give Germany a 6-4 advantage out of the gate here. Chime in on our chat or chime in with us on social media I'm on X at Chris Sylvester _ and on Instagram at CSylvesterPBP as in play-by-play. We'll try to give you the best play-by-play. And how about Nico Batum, who recently re-signed with the Clippers, who he played with a number of years ago. Of course, he kind of had that anomaly play-in game performance for the Sixers against the Miami Heat. Didn't really have a big performance from there against the Knicks in a first-round loss. But you talk about a guy with some serious experience. And Batum hitting a three-pointer to give France a lead. And now Evan Fournier continues his hot shooting from that overtime victory against Japan. He knocks down the triple. So some of those early shots from the outside starting to fall for Germany. (10-9) the count. Dennis Schroeder. I think Dennis Schroeder's got to be the focal point here for Germany. By far and away the most talented scorer on the Team Germany squad. Matthew Strazel. He's a big reason why France is in a good spot here. Had that 4-point play with like 9 seconds left against Japan. Matthew Strazel. Maybe we'll see him working his way to like a 10-day contract or something like that. What you got to understand about some of these international players you're seeing, and you're wondering, hey, why aren't these guys in the NBA? Well, you have to factor in that the NBA G League doesn't pay a ton. And for these guys, and we just saw it with Pat Beverly, a longtime NBA role player, signing an overseas contract. Sometimes those options are better. So for a guy like Matthew Strazel, who hits another shot for France to put him up 12-9 here, that might be reasoning for him to continue playing overseas when he is capable of playing a little bit in the States. Franz Wagner with a dunk. We saw so many of those with the Orlando Magic. What a breakout year they had. And they paid Wagner over $200 million in his most recent deal. Shout out to FIBA putting together these chat streams. We're hanging out with you through the entirety of France-Germany here. 12-11. We expect this to be pretty tight throughout. Group B action from the 2024 Olympic Games. Germany in front. Franz Wagner getting real comfortable here. Dennis Schroeder setting him up for the 3-ball. 2-point lead. How do you guys like the Olympic floors here? Got the artwork underneath the 3-point line. Got the diamonds with the basketball in the middle of them. I think it's a pretty sweet look. Baby blue painted area. Kind of the theme color here. So about halfway through this first quarter, 2-point lead for Germany. Germany 4-point favorites coming in, which I think surprised a lot of people. But the way France has looked out of the gate, they have left something to be desired, especially in that win against Japan in overtime, where they didn't really show up until the final seconds, and then they kind of turned it on in OT. So again, we welcome you here to the chat party. People are looking for France over 79.5. Daniel K chiming in. Oh, Franz Wagner, man, he's cooking. Hope you took the overs on Wagner. Annette is watching live from Vegas. Wonder if she's got action on this game in Vegas. I know that's a lot of our viewership. Chime in on the chat. We'll do our best to shout you out. Let us know where you're watching from, who you're pulling for in this game, if you have props that you're pulling for in this game. I tell you, Franz Wagner in the open floor is just so dangerous. So they're going to put Schroeder here on Fournier. Now they'll switch defenders on him. Rudy on a back down, and then just, you know what I like a lot about these Olympic Games? The officials are not so whistle happy like you have a lot of the times in the NBA. See a lot of plays where it's just good physical contact through defense, not enough to warrant a foul. People wanting to know where you can watch the game, you can catch it on the Peacock app. That's where I'm watching right now. Or you can hang out with us. We can talk about the game as it goes along. We've got the built-in scoreboard. All tied at 16 now with an even 3 minutes on this first quarter clock. Slom Cool checking in from Kenya says, may the best team win. Maybe he's got the over. He wants to see a lot of points in this game. All right, so it's been a good first quarter here. 16-16. Franz Wagner leading the charge for Germany. Seen a lot of Rudy Gobert. A few dunks in the low post this first quarter for Team France on its home floor in Paris. France had a chance to take a lead on an and one, but they missed the free throw. So deadlocked at 16 here inside of 3 minutes first quarter. Dennis Schroeder, the shifty guard, kind of a journeyman at this point of his career, but can still influence an offense in a really positive manner. Right now, Wemby on the bench, Batum and Gobert on the floor. Nico on a step-back corner tray off the heel, and Rudy Gobert, it looks like he pushed off there, going for the rebound. So a foul on France will give it back to Germany. 2.5 minutes left in this first quarter. Thanks for joining us on the FIBA live stream. Having these chat parties throughout the 2024 Olympics. Three team fouls on France. That was the first on Rudy, so he'll stay out there. Oh, Schroeder on a perfect bounce to Wagner, and Gobert, the defensive player of the year, got a partial deflection. France gives it right back in transition, and Schroeder will launch one from way up top. Remember, the FIBA three-point line, a little closer than the NBA line, so some of these that are from long distance might not be all that further from the NBA line. And off the offensive rebound, Schroeder with a terrific finger roll finish to put Germany back in front. You could just tell he's a different type of athlete among the guys on his squad aside from the Wagner brothers. Like, he's got that next level gear that you look for on these international teams trying to pull off upsets. Again, Germany 4-point favorite coming into this game, which I think a lot of people kind of shrugged at. I feel like a lot of people are on France in this game. Like, Germany's the betting favorite, sure, but like among the public, conversations about this game, a lot of people like France. Hey, we just posted a poll in our chat. Who do you think will win this one between France and Germany? 35 votes and counting, and we literally put that down seconds ago. I think France is going to win. I'm not pulling for them. I'm hoping to see a good game, but I do think France is going to come through and play much better than they did in their most recent game, that overtime win against Japan. Jonathan G., we're watching on Peacock in the States. This has got to be one of the top European matchups we'll see in these Olympics. Jeff Hullum checking in says Wemby's going under 10 boards. Right now he's not on the floor with about a minute left here. Something about these Olympic rims, so many more shots tend to fall in. Very friendly rims, like when you go to the local park. Now, the worst thing is a double rim when you want to go play some hoops with your friends. But you get that nice, friendly rim, it'll be forgiving on some misfires. All right, final half minute. Germany maintaining a 2-point advantage. Get a hard take to the rim and a foul on France. It'll put Germany at the stripe. Now Martha Thomas checking in saying France all the way. Again, that's kind of been the consensus among conversations we've had leading up to this game. Right now, Germany in front down the stretch of the first quarter. All right, 1 for 2 on those free throws there. About 26 seconds left in the first quarter. Germany 19-16 over France. Actually going to keep it here. It looks like they initially pointed the way of France, but this has a chance to be an even bigger possession for Germany, and they'll hit the free throw line again. It's Wagner stepping to the stripe for 2 this time. Chance to balloon that lead. The prodigy asking what Wemby's doing. He's on the bench, probably getting ready to check in with the second unit ahead of the start of the second quarter. Ian Taghoy asking, can South Sudan defeat Serbia tomorrow? That's a good question. I think they're capable. Obviously, South Sudan didn't fare better second time against the United States, but they still had some moments, kept that game close. They covered 29.5-point spread. Now Wemby, 6 minutes, no points here in this first quarter. Winding down here. A lot of free throws down the stretch of this first quarter. And France will get 2 more here as Yabusele will take a couple. A lot of Wemby overs. Over betters, should I say. I've been a little disappointed here by this showing in the first quarter. A lot of time left. So both free throws good for France. Germany's got 7.5 ticks to take it the length of the floor. Schroeder high steps it, 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Corner, it's Bonga at the buzzer, and he buries it. What a shot with the hand in his face, and he puts the hand over his face. Wasn't Caleb Martin doing that in the 2023 Eastern Conference Finals? So Isaac Bonga hits a dagger triple from the corner pocket to close the first 10 minutes here. And it's Germany. Huge second half a couple days ago against Brazil. And holding strong, up 6 through 1 quarter here against Team France. France is going to need to regroup, and I think a lot of people who have the overs on Wemby are hoping he's going to take over the second quarter and beyond of this game. We've got under voters as well for Wemby, so I think we got some people pretty happy with this low-scoring affair after 1 quarter. 24-18, and we all knew the defensive prowess of France coming in, but their offense proved to be pretty problematic in their most recent game against Japan. 18 points a quarter, not going to do it at this juncture of the Olympic Games. Let us know what you'd like to see in the second quarter of this game. More offense for France has to be atop the menu for a lot of us here. Brian Teasdale asking, how do we feel about the game total at 161.5? Pretty good, right? I mean, 42-point first quarter. Maybe not. I mean, technically we're projected to go over that. So are they expecting this game to be even more low scoring from here? Was that really the over-under on this game? Brian Teasdale checking in from Dublin. We don't know where. Dublin, Ireland. There's a Dublin in California. There's a Dublin in Ohio. I'm going to guess Ireland. Well, right now, the Wagner bros are just too much of a problem for France, even with the size that they have on the inside. Germany ballooning its lead to 8 points, 26-18 here, first minute of the second quarter. Wemby not on the floor here to start our second quarter of play. It's kind of a surprise. Only played 6 minutes in that first quarter, no points. He's got to be a factor here on both ends. He's got to be that two-way star that everybody expects him to blossom into pretty quickly as he gets ready for his second professional season in the States. Nico Batum missing some shots here and got a foul on France right across midcourt. ItXchi_Uchicha says this is going to be an easy dub for Germany. Right now they're up 8. On a nice little spurt here, end of the first, start of the second, where it looks like they're in control of this game, but just too much time to make any bold statements. Wembanyama with a nice block, follow-up won't go, and then Wemby, just a freak of nature, just snatches it out of the sky. Influenced a couple shots inside. France already 3 blocks. We know they're going to lead most teams in that category with Wemby and Gobert. See if the offense can flow a little smoother with Wemby instead of Rudy out there. Wemby will take the step back 3 in and out. Good soft touch on that one. Almartha, rest assured, they do have Wemby in the game now. Almost had a crazy sequence, both defensively and offensively. But this time, Wagner gets around him and draws the foul on Wemby. Just a step too quick for Victor there. Some in the chat suggesting that France just got lucky against Japan. Felt like maybe that whistle should have been swallowed when it brought about the 4-point play to send the game to overtime. Fun crowd there. You wonder if they're going to be a factor. France has got to play well for the locals to make some noise. And right now, trailing by 8 at an early second quarter timeout. 8:27 left to play before the half. So Wemby leading France back out onto the floor. 26-18, Germany in front. 8:27 left in this second quarter. Wagner's have been a problem. Hope you took the over on their props if you're playing this game. This will be Moritz Wagner at the line. He's 2 for 2 at the stripe. 4 points in this game. Prodigy asking, can Wemby still score 15-plus points? Doesn't have any right now. I think he can. He's shown us he can heat up in a hurry, especially if that 3 ball's dropping for Wemby. Almost got one to fall France's last trip down the floor. Just see the emotion these teams are playing with. Scrapping at each other like a must-win. Germany's up 10 now. Wemby gets it left elbow. Remember, he's so much bigger than everybody else. Jabbing a couple times. Now a crossover dribble. Backing down. Gets doubled by the Wagners. Kicks it out for a late shot clock 3. It gets batted skyward. Wemby dribbled it off of his knee, and Germany snatches it away. Just worked late in the clock there. A lot of time with Wemby isolated with the basketball. That shot misses. Wembanyama clears. Another rebound to his total. Wembanyama just attracting so much attention defensively. Almost a double team regularly on Wembanyama. This one not. Oh, this one wasn't the act of shooting. Frank, the ex-lottery pick to the New York Knicks. He's also seen time with other NBA franchises. Only 26. Just turned 26 at the end of last month. Was overall pick back in the 2017 draft. Taking 3 free throws here. He's from Belgium. Most recently in the league with the Charlotte Hornets. And has since signed on to play for Partizan in Belgrade, Serbia. So that's where we'll see him later this year. Good FIBA history for Frank. He was the Europe U18 MVP back in 2016, a year before he was a lottery pick. So 2 for 3 on the free throws. 7:20 left in this first half. Nice lean in off the glass for two. Right now, Germany in a rhythm offensively. Dennis Schroeder at the controls for this squad, up 11 points with 7 minutes left in the quarter. That'll go off the glass. Wemby grabs it and slams it. First points. Prodigy needs more than 15. Chiming in on the chat. Hope you chime in too. Already got over 330 votes on who people think are going to win this game. 56% of you say still going to be France, even though they trail by 9 points here. Wagner steamrolls into Wemby, and he takes the charge. Nicely done by Wembanyama. JJ chimes in and said, he ain't scoring 15 this game. All right, JJ. He needs 13 to reach 15. JJ is relying on that lockdown Germany defense that we've seen showcased in this game. I'm going to remember this comment, though, JJ. We're going to circle back when this one's all said and done. Because you said that adamantly, that he ain't scoring 15. You didn't say, I think he's not going to score 15. I don't see him scoring. He said, you're not scoring 15. Wemby's got it high post here. France trails by 9 with the ball after the charge. Gobert back on the floor. So you got the two big fellas out there with Rudy and Wemby. Arguably the top two defenders in the NBA. Gobert out of sorts, turns it over. Schroeder racing ahead and got a foul in transition. We'll see if this is an intentional foul. That's what Deutschland is pulling for. I think Gobert should just camp out in the low post on offense for France, because when he tries to create off the dribble, he just can't. There's a reason we don't see him do that with the T-Wolves. So with 6 minutes left in the quarter, the officials gathered together, and they will call an intentional foul here. That's the signal they just gave to the scorers table. And now the officials are going to take a second look at it, try and determine the severity of the foul. Okay, JJ is French, but he's rooting for Germany. Said France has been not lived up to it here at the Olympics. Showing us an instant replay of where that foul occurred. It's going to be some sort of free throw and ball situation for Germany. JJ thinks Franz Wagner over 15 for sure. That's looking like a good bet at the moment. All right, officials back on the floor. It's time to get playing again. JJ, this is a Sennheiser headset. It is pretty clean. This is actually like the second latest version of it. They've got a newer version, but look up Sennheiser, bringing us the headgear here today. All right, so you got Wagner. This is Franz back at the free throw line. He'll be taking those intentional free throws. Daniel Theis arguing for Germany further than just what was called on the floor. There still appears to be some displeasure here from Team Germany about that last sequence. Maybe they thought it was an offensive foul against Gobert. He was out of control when he lost it. But then that would have negated any chance at an intentional foul in transition. I don't quite understand what the argument is, but both free throws hit, 11-point lead. Germany has the ball. I know you're a superstar, a supernova shining, you can see from super far. And they ain't ready, know you're about to hit the throttle. 6 minutes left in the half. Schroeder with 5 to shoot, top of the key, pulls up just outside the free throw line. I think Gobert got a piece of it. Loose ball ricochets to Wemby. Wemby held the 2 points here with 5:45 left in the quarter. Picked up by Daniel Tice. Gets rid of it. Batum, left elbow, book it. Good looking shot from Nico Batum. He'll call the Olympics' next basketball home in Los Angeles, California, the Intuit Dome home this year as he rejoins the Clippers. Daniel Tice, short on a three-pointer, front-rimmed it. 9-point lead for Germany. Can France make a charge? Final 5 of the half. Gobert down the lane, lost it. He's got to stop dribbling the ball. I mean, Rudy Gobert is just influencing this game in a bad way on the offensive end, and that kind of negates what he's able to bring defensively as Wagner hangs and misses on a right-hand hook shot outside the restricted area. Rebounded by France. They trail by 9. 4:50 left in the quarter. Shot clock down to 5. Got to get something off here. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, a straight on 3, too strong. Shooter leads a 2-on-2 to Wagner for a left-hand layup. That is beautiful transition offense off the missed shot from France, and Germany reclaims a double-digit lead. 13 points now for Franz Wagner. If his over-under was 15, you are well on your way to a win here this afternoon. 5 to shoot, man. France, just the ball movement has not been good. They're going to settle for another late clock shot. It is Batum this time, missing off the right side of the rim, and it went up over the backboard out of bounds. Checking in on our stream here. Ram Hassan watching from Kita Pawan. Tim Gonzalez watching from San Antonio, Texas, says Wemby will finish with a double-double. I think Tim has seen enough of that in his backyard with the Spurs and how frequent Wemby's able to grab double-digit points and rebounds. JJ says under 166 is a decent bet for this game if you want to take it. There has not been much scoring in this second quarter. In fact, only 5 points for France. They were stuck on 18 at the end of the first quarter. Now we've got 3:40 left in the second. Schroeder, step back right wing 3, absolute money. Just having fun out there. Big smile from Dennis Schroeder. Germany goes up 14 points here. Some people in the chat are calling it, saying Germany's put this thing out of reach and France is not going to claw back. Josh, NBA and Movies, says it's over for France. I'd say it's over for France if this run for Germany continues. Schroeder's now up 12 points for the game. He's hit a couple trays, leading his squad to a 14-point lead. If this lead grows from here by the time halftime hits, I don't know if France has the weapons and the shooting on offense to be able to erase it. But if they can get this thing down to like 10 points, single digits at the half, I still think France has an outside shot to pull off a comeback in the final 20 minutes. Annette says she thinks Germany's going to win this game when it's all said and done. Boom Nagantavi says just go for France under 77.5. That's a pretty good bet right now. Right now, they're teetering on territory where they might not break 60. I mean, seriously, if they don't shoot it better, which they will. Evan Fournier back in. He's got to be a focal point for the offense. Very loud man says, a la Madrid. So high post Wemby. Again, that shot clock running low. Got a foul away from the ball on Germany. Daniel Tice picks it up. Three team fouls on each side. Fournier's got it. Entry pass deflected. Tice running the floor. Daniel Theis going coast to coast for a right-hand layup. That's kind of the cherry on top of this ridiculous stretch for Germany to go up 16 points. France has now turned it over 7 times. They just don't appear to have much continuity on offense. Alley-oop, beautifully done. Batum to Wemby for a two-hand slam. So that's 4 points now for Victor Wembanyama. Can he add to that total a little bit with 2.5 minutes left to play in the second? Germany in control here, up 14. Schroeder finds a little crease. Instead, it's Wagner with a straight-on three. Perfect. If Schroeder ain't scoring it, he's assisting it. 17-point lead here for Germany with 2:10 left in the quarter. Franz Wagner, if you took him over, I think he's already cleared. He's at 16 points this first half. Got a foul on the floor against Daniel Theis. Boom is saying, now's the time to get on France. They're going to have a 20-0 run in the second half. I don't know, man. Germany looks pretty darn good right now. Very loud man joining the chat saying he's all for Germany. Christo chiming in saying, go France, go. Right now they're down 20 points. Dennis Schroeder with 15 in the first half, on his way to another monster Olympic game here. It's not looking good for France. They miss a layup. Batum can't follow it up. Late whistle. And a foul with Gobert on the bench. 1:30 left in the quarter. This is not looking good for the home team, so to speak. .20 lead. Time winding down on the clock here for Germany. And they did not get that dunk off in time. Wagner with a right-hand hammer asking for a review, but I think the decision there to dunk it rather than try and get it out of his hand as quickly as possible and lay it in cost him the 2 points. And you can clearly see on the replay that he's still palming that right hand while the ball was in it. Final minute here, man. I mean, regardless of what France does, even a little 5-0 flurry here is not going to really change the feel of this game. Absolute dominance from Germany. They've held France to fewer than 10 points here in the second quarter. Really tough showing from this France squad. Just can't do anything. So many of these possessions are just getting stale outside the perimeter. They throw away another entry pass. Now 9 turnovers for France. 20-point lead for Germany with the basketball. Schroeder pitches. Open right wing three. Of course it falls. That's the half it's been for Germany. 23-point lead. The lead is almost more than the Team France point total right now. Germany red hot from beyond the arc, much like their jerseys. 7 of 12 from the three-point line. Meanwhile, France, they've been held to 2, and those 2 triples were in the opening minutes. Fournier down the right side of the lane, can't get it to fall, but draws a foul with 9.7. Looney Hoops joined in the chat saying, seems like Germany's controlling the game. Yep, seems like it. Prodigy really needs Wemby to get to those 15 points. I think he does. I think there's got to be an emphasis on just Wemby being the real focal point of this offense the rest of this game. But I mean, you can't even think about a comeback right now if you're France. You have to literally take this thing possession by possession and try to string together like an 8-0, 10-0 run to really feel like you're back in it. Evan Fournier, 6 points, 1 of 3 from the field. (48-27), final 5 seconds. Schroeder pulls the trigger. Why not? Almost banked it in and rebounded by France in the final seconds. They do not get a shot off. And so we've reached the half here. Absolute dominance from Germany, 48-27. What's going on with France? Victor Wembanyama just 4 points. France held to 9 in the second quarter. Germany 24 points in the first 2 frames to get 48 at the half. Right now, the Deutschland fans making much more noise than the locals here. I don't know what the conversation is here for France at the half, because right now they just look outmatched. Tim Gonzalez opines that France used up their energy against Japan in the last game. That's certainly tough to come off the emotions of a comeback overtime victory, but boy, they had to know that this Germany squad was so much better, and France is almost playing as poorly as they did against Japan. JJ saying France playing worse than Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico taking on the United States tomorrow morning, 11:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Brandon Katz says, Team France, regardless of that last predicament against Japan, says, hey, no need for any excuses. Come on, these aren't 90-year-old men. Good point. I think the way this France team is built now compared to what we'll see 4 years from now in Los Angeles, I mean, we saw it, right, with the first 2 picks in the NBA draft this year. I think the talent, basketball-wise, in France is just getting better and better every year. You know, I'm starting to think maybe like 2032 would be a more realistic chance for France. Like, obviously, Wemby's going to be, I think, a top 5 player in the world by the time 2028 rolls around. I think he's already like fringe top 25 player in the league with what he can do from a shooting standpoint. Obviously, the mismatch he presents defensively. But, man, I don't know. I had a lot of people hype up France before these Olympics telling me they might beat the U.S. this year and for sure 4 years from now. I don't know about that. Now, like the U.S., they're not going to have Braun. They're not going to have Curry. They're probably not going to have Drew Holiday, who I know Drew Holiday is like not a big name necessarily, but you saw how big of a role he played on the Celtics and how big of a role he's playing right now with USA. I don't know if we'll have KD back for another Olympics. I wouldn't think so. Anthony Davis, we'll see, right? So who's going to kind of step into that next tier for USA? I think it was a fumble not having Jaylen Brown on that team. I understand the fit, though. Like, I mean, look, Jason Tatum was left on the pine that first game and then started. I mean, that's how deep the roster is for USA. So just to think that a team like France could be a real threat 4 years from now, so many things would have to go right for them. I feel like so many things would have to kind of go wrong in terms of roster personnel and people wanting to play in the Olympics for the USA. Brandon Katz chiming in more, saying Gobert doesn't fit with Wemby. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, in the NBA, would you, if you're the San Antonio Spurs and you had the draft capital, you had the prospect, let's say Minnesota wanted to blow it up, which they won't because they're building around Ant. But would you ID Rudy Gobert as someone to go get? Nah. I mean, Gobert can't shoot, right? Like, the only way Wemby playing alongside another 7-footer would work is if you had one that could stretch the floor a little bit. I mean, for as great as Rudy Gobert is defensively, there's no disputing that. He can be a liability on the offensive end. I think we saw it against the Dallas Mavericks in the Western Conference Finals, and I think we're kind of seeing it here through these first couple Olympic games. Good point from Tim Gonzalez. Cooper Flagg and Chet are coming for the Americans. I think a lot of guys. Brian Teasdale says he thinks he's going to take Germany over 18.5 third-quarter points. They are hot. Yeah. Here's the thing about that, though. I get that they're hot. Sometimes you're sizzling in the first half like that. You go into this halftime break, and I don't think there's any pressure on Germany at all. And I don't think they'll falter necessarily. I just think France is good enough defensively. Where 18.5, I think that's a fair number given by the odds makers in that situation. But I would lean over just by seeing what Germany's done so far. See if they can kind of keep the foot on the gas here. Thanks for joining us here on the FIBA Basketball Channel. We're at the half. Germany 21-point lead over France. The French squad was held to just 9 points in the final 10 minutes of that first half. Victor Wembanyama held to just 4 points in the first two quarters. A lot of people need him to go over 15 at least. I mean, I had some that said have him around 18, 19 points for this game, which appears to be quite a stretch at this juncture. Lando Calrissian, I apologize if I botched that last name. Lando, I really thought this was going to be closer. How can you get pounded like this with two great NBA centers? Well, I'll say this. Less athleticism, right? I mean, I think Wemby's super athletic, right? But he's not a great ball handler at this point. The three-point shooting is not there. 5 more made threes through one half for Germany. We're looking at some of the stats right now, watching the live feed here on Peacock in the U.S., but I mean, the three-point shooting hasn't been there for France. They didn't hit one the entirety of the second quarter. There's just not enough playmakers outside of Wembanyama on this France team right now. Two great NBA centers, but man, tough. Remember when the Pellies had AD and DeMarcus Cousins play alongside? That's two great NBA centers, right? I mean, I guess AD kind of more of a power forward, but plug him in as a 5 just about anywhere and he'll be great. Not always about that size and athleticism. I feel like that's not as prevalent in today's game, just with the way it's played. And Germany playing new school hoops with 7 threes through the first couple quarters here. Showing some highlights here on the stream as we get ready for the start of the third quarter. Corrido says Victor better drop 16 in this comeback. You know, I've got a little coffee here. I've got a little water here. I'm staying hydrated. I'm staying fueled. Nothing would get me more geeked than a France comeback here. Come on, we're due for one. They had a nice comeback against Japan, but Germany's a different beast. What do y'all think France needs to do, man? Like, just start chucking threes? I mean, that's always my philosophy in this day and age. Like, if you don't got three-point shooters on your team, like, you probably aren't going to win a ton of games. Celtics were the best team in the NBA this year in three-point shooting, and they won the finals. They dominated. Jeff, we're at the half, buddy. Start of the third, coming up soon. Ain't no half Stefan saying France rotation, substitutions, a little sus. See if Team France, that coaching staff, makes any changes here at the half. Shout out FIBA putting together these chat parties all Olympics long. Make sure to subscribe here, FIBA, the basketball channel. Brandon Katz opines that France needs to push the pace, get Wemby in the open floor. I mean, when Batum is lobbing it up to Wemby, it's a thing of beauty, man. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just so seamless for Wemby to get up off the floor and dunk. Something about those, like, super tall dudes and how they so majestically dunk, right? It's just so much less power in the takeoff than what we have from some shorter guys that get up and stuff it. Boom. Nagant Havi says, will France reach over 77.5? 77.5. I mean, you're talking about a 50-point second half, 20-minute of hoops. Might need another OT sesh for that to happen. Jeff Hullum saying, Wemby not the answer. He bet under on Wemby. He is a Wemby naysayer. Ain't no half. Stefan says France doesn't have a capable point guard to make things happen. Like, France would need, like, a Dennis Schroeder, right? Like, how much better would France be in this game if Dennis Schroeder swapped teams? I think he's the X factor. As good as the Wagner brothers have been, pretty awesome. All right, so getting ready for the start of the second half. It's going to need to be a dominant opening to this third quarter, you'd think, for France to even have a puncher's chance in the fourth quarter. Lights are getting dark. In Paris says, we'll pick things up. If you're just joining us, Germany had a 24-18 lead after the first quarter. Then the second quarter rolled around, and that was all Germany. 24-9, they outscored France. Up 21 at the half. Getting ready for the start of the third quarter here. Fritz Brodith says, bring back Tony Parker. I mean, come on. I mean, dude could still get off some pretty nice passes. Curtis says, run more plays for Wemby in the post to force A double team, I like that. I mean, come on, you got to find some creases for shooters. Christo Sarvantikes says Mbappe for point guard. Wasn't somebody about to pay him like $1 billion? Why not? I mean, if you're going to pay someone $1 billion, they better be able to make things happen on the pitch and set up guys on the hardwood here. All right, so France is going to have possession here coming out of the half, trailing by 21 points. I feel like they got to pull out all the stops. They'll go high post, right side to Wemby. No Gobert here to start the third, and I kind of like that. And they'll get an open dunk plus the foul. That was a sky-high finish. Nice start to the third for France. Through the contact there. That was beautiful from Matthias Lessert. And it caps the three-point play. So not the traditional three-pointer, but France will get three anyway on its first possession of the second half. And now a foul on France as Schroeder crosses midcourt. Daniel Tice will get it up top here. Spoon feeds Wagner. Couple steps down the lane and draws a foul. So that's the negative of not having Gobert out there. Maybe things move and flow better on the offensive end. But you leave Wemby on an island. And if somebody else gets Wemby's attention down there, that opens up the middle of the lane. And the Wagners are not going to stop driving. People in the chat are saying, here comes the comeback, but if the Wagner bros keep hitting the free throw line, they're not missing much. Franz has 17 points, one more free throw coming. Up 20, 50-30. Germany absolutely dominating. Wemby, 4 points. Doesn't have it here. Shot clock into single digits. Now they'll give it to Victor. He'll fire a wing three, in and out. Lessert on the offensive glass. That'll set up another open three, and that's just the third of the game for France. Big time triple from up top. Had a couple three-point possessions here. Remember, France was held to just 9 points in the second quarter. They've already got 6 here, about a minute into the third. So they've made some adjustments on the offensive end. The question is, when you trail by this much, you have to be crisp on both ends. And right now, the offense looks better for France, but can the defense be better for the French national team? Jeff Hullum says, ain't no comeback here. We know he's got the Wemby unders. Shot clock winding down. We'll get a straight on three. And, man, Germany just continues to catch fire from long range. 53-33. 8 trays for the Germans in this game. Fournier guarded tightly by Schroeder. 5 to shoot. Nothing developing this trip. Schroeder just a menace on defense. Fournier off-balanced, one-footed three, too strong. Rebound Germany. That's a microcosm of how this game has gone, and the scoreboard will back that up with a 20-point advantage here for Germany. 8 minutes left in the third. Dennis Schroeder getting back to work, dishing to the corner, open three, in and out. You almost expect most of these to go in for Germany. Comfortable lead for them right now. And now Wemby has it poked away, taken, stolen in the backcourt, and recovered by Germany. even defensively. All right, 5 to shoot. Here's a step back 3 and got a foul. Man, France is just having a tough night at the office. The Slow Late Show. Great program chiming in here on the chat. I would subscribe to them too, honestly. Big fan. It says RIP France Moneyline. Yep. I would say we're just about ready to put the nail in that coffin. Time winding down. Wagner takes a step back 3, almost banked it in. Daniel Tice on the offensive glass has the putback. Germany wants it more. They're hustling more, getting the 50-50 balls at a way higher frequency than France. And it's a 22-point deficit for the French national team. They'd been waiting years, and they knew Wemby was going to be a part of this when he became a top prospect. But, man, just a disappointing showing. Not playing well, and they just proving they don't have enough here. Step back jumper missed. Just not enough creation on the offensive end. And I think it all starts with Dennis Schroeder. I really think he's the difference. Tried to go behind the back on a pass there. It gets taken away by France. Fournier, boy, and Germany just defensively continuing to hound the perimeter and not give the French any clean looks. Remember, they had 6 points the first minute of this quarter, have not scored since. Since the first quarter, a whopping total of 15 points for France. That is not going to get the job done. And Schroeder is fouled on the floor. That one against Strazel. Here's a good question from the Slow Late Show. Do we think Team Germany was inspired by Team Rui? Of course, Ruin's side. Not so cool. Of course, we all know him in Germany. He had a big dub at the Red Bull Game Ball Royale last night. Did you guys catch any of that on ESPN2? It was a dodgeball match, part of ESPN 8 The Ocho. Going to be re-airing on ESPN News throughout the weekend. You can watch an archive on the ESPN app. But, I mean, all eyes have gone from Red Bull Game Ball Royale in Germany to the Olympic Games here in the German national team, now up 23 points with Dennis Schroeder at the foul line. Jeff Hullum's kicking himself, says, I should have bet on Dennis, man. Fair point. 57-33. It is, right now it's a rout. I don't know how France is going to string together a stretch of like an 8-0, 10-0 run. And that's what they need in the worst way right now. Had a little burst at the start of the quarter. Germany's gotten locked down on defense since. That's missed. And fortuitous bounce to Lessert, who finishes with a dunk. He's got 5 of the 8 points now for France in this third quarter. This has been a poor offensive quarter for France. If this is a poor offensive quarter for France with 8 points in like 5 minutes, what was that second quarter in which they scored 9 points in 10 minutes? $57-35 the count. Fournier stopping at the foul line. Wemby out of a shot fake. Leave Lessert alone in the paint. Couldn't power it up. Wembanyama, deep left wing 3, and Wemby rattles it. That'll get the home crowd up on its feet. It's still so much work to do for France. Trailing by 19 points, 4:50 left in the third. Still an eternity, as they'd say on the clock. But when Dennis Schroeder is gliding and scoring just like he did there, 59-38, Schroeder just having a whale of a game. 19 points now for the German point guard. The German everything. I mean, he's setting everything up for all of his teammates. Lessert gets it low block on a skip out. France cash in on the open three. And look, the adjustments France needs to make in the next 4 years: knockdown shooters and a true pass-first point guard. Does it mean bringing Tony Parker out of retirement? I don't know. You got to consider everything if this French national team is serious about competing on this stage. Fournier shimmies his way to an open right-wing triple and buries it. So three-pointers in the quarter for France. They only had 2 in the first 2 quarters. Romar Hernandez saying home floor got their French toast burnt. So French toast is so good, though. I'll take some burnt French toast if it's between that and a piece of plain bread. And 1 bucket. Franz Wagner continues to dominate for Germany. That'll put him back up 59-41. And a free throw coming for Franz. Wagner just 22 years young for the Orlando Magic. 8th overall pick back in 2021. Was an NBA All-Rookie first-team selection. His first year in the association. Played at University of Michigan. Averaged 19 points per game in the Magic's 7-game series loss against the Cleveland Cavaliers earlier this year. And boy, did he get paid. I'm trying to find those numbers on the extension right now for Franz, but obviously Paulo Banchero is a big part of the Magic future. Well, Franz Wagner, 5 years, $224 million. They're just printing money down there in Orlando. Oh, Wemby just got poked in the eye. That's probably not going to happen to him too much in his career. I mean, how high would you have to reach to poke Wemby in the eye? I think I'd need a step ladder. So Wemby poked in the eye on a foul from Germany. That's not going to change things much here as corner tray gets missed by Wemby out of the inbound pass. Oh, Schroeder, another blow by. Oh, that right-hand finger roll was halfway down, popped out. Final 3 minutes of the third. .21 lead for the Germans. They'll feed Wemby across the floor. Batum, wide open 3. Bang. Nico Batum looking like he was in that play-in game earlier this year for the Sixers where he exploded for like 20 points. Now 4 3-pointers now for France in this third, giving them 6 for the game. But they'll need that type of effort defensively too. Schroeder, step back, hand in his face, missed everything. That'll be a shot clock violation. So a good defensive stance for France. Got a chance to get a little closer here with 2:12 left in the third. Oh, the red jersey's just piling up in the low post right now. Nothing coming easy for France. Has been a much better quarter for the French. 19 points. Somebody was thinking about taking the under there, I think. Or maybe it was the Germany over on their point total. They've been pretty darn good, too, as Schroeder hits another layup. Wemby got 7 points now. Now no Gobert, no Wemby on the floor. This did not fare well for the French last time. Likely a short spurt without those two here as Matthias Lessert will head to the free throw line. He's had some nice offensive moments early in this third.
Sometimes you have to let certain people know, you know.
We're hoping for a little bit of a better game than this one.
Can't mix up in their madness, you get me? Yeah. Hey. Don't have to pull my line. Might as well save your cred. Message me multiple times. You will get left on red. Why you gotta stand so close? Understand we are not friends. Don't be doing pally. Most of them faking the end. Don't have to pull my line. Might as well save your cred. Message me multiple times. You will get left on red. Why you gotta stand so close? Understand we are not friends. Don't be doing pally. Most of them faking the end. Yo, don't get it twisted. Say my name can't run with no dimwit. Let me dead, you know you can't fix it. The mad energy's too dark to risk it. Since a teen on you, I'll be a misfit. Couldn't even repair that.
All right, 20-point lead. Oh, my. Perhaps the dunk of the game. Franz Wagner says, look out below, plus the foul. And there doesn't appear to be any type of life here for France. Yeah, that's what happens when you have no Gobert, no Wemby in there. Good point. Brandon Katz saying they should have left Wemby in the game. Only 7 points for Wemby. Slow late show saying, wish Papa Plate was playing. Yeah, well, him or Honey Poo, two of the biggest German influencers. You know Honey Poo from YouTube. You know Honey Poo's tuned into this one, hoping Germany holds on to this comfortable lead at the end of 3. 24 points for Franz Wagner. Yep. I'd say worth that max extension money. I think Germany's going to be a tough out, man. I'd like to see a rematch, them and the States. I just worry about Germany being able to shoot it like that from the outside. Team USA has so many good perimeter defenders. Then again, I mean, first matchup with South Sudan, they shot the lights out from distance. Another foul here with 30 seconds left in the quarter. Germany, it appears they're going to run away with a laugher in this game. So Franz Wagner, who's got a plus 22 in this game, 8 of 12 from the field, 24 points. France had so much better of an offensive quarter than they've had the entirety of the game, and they really couldn't make much of a dent into this deficit. Germany's just flat out the better team, right? And you can't dispute that. Like, these teams could play 10 times. Germany would win 8, 9 times? Fair to say? Final 20 seconds of the third. Gobert back inbounding for France. They trail by 23, and time is going to become a factor very soon here. Less than 5 to shoot. A contested straightaway 3 bounces off. Last touched by France. Germany will have 5.5 seconds to try and add to this lead. Romar Hernandez says, yup, Franz, that heater's still turned on. It ain't getting cold anytime soon for Franz Wagner. Isaac Bonga hitting the bench. Nice pass from Schroeder. Gets it to Wagner. He kicks it. Open 3. In and out. That tap back at the last moment off the side of the backboard from Germany. But dominance on display. 3 quarters down, 1 to go in Paris. And the team from France having all sorts of trouble here. 69-46 the count. People are wondering if Wemby is going to get over 12 points at this juncture of the game with just 10 minutes left. He's only got 7. 4 in the first half. His only contributions as a scorer in the third quarter were on a made 3. Hey, we'd like to welcome Kevin Schmidt. Welcome to MVP. Kevin, now a member of FIBA, the basketball channel. Kevin, let us know where you're watching from, your thoughts of this game through 3 quarters. Franz Wagner, 26 points to lead all scorers. Dennis Schroeder, the second leading scorer in this game with 21. Next closest is France's leading scorer through 3 quarters, and that's Evan Fournier, the veteran shooting guard. It has not been a big game for Wemby, nor Gobert, nor Batum. Over on Wembanyama, it just kind of depends on where you're at. I've seen 12, I've seen 15, I've seen 18, 19. Early whistle about 10 seconds into this fourth frame. Shout out to FIBA for the tunes, keeping us rolling through what's been a one-sided affair here. Germany 69-46. Not a great showing from Team France. Boom thinks that they could stick a fork in these guys. All right, 69-46. Final seconds. Off the back rim. Batum pitches it. Gobert hands off. Batum flashes and fouled on the floor. Well, I just don't know what adjustments France can make offensively to put together a flurry here. It just feels like Germany's well prepared for whatever France is going to try to throw at them to score the basketball, and seems like an all-around better lineup on the floor each time, although the C's part ways, and Corinder with an emphatic two-hand slam for France. Well, that'll only take a little bite out of what's now a 21-point lead for the Germany squad here. Inside of 9 minutes left. Nice block from Gobert. That's what he's out there for. Can he influence this game at all offensively? Do they need him to even touch the ball? Right now, he was standing alone underneath the hoop. His teammates didn't get it to him. Instead, France will chuck up a 3. That goes in. So a little life here. Back-to-back buckets for France, 69-51. Problem is, there's only 8.5 minutes left, and anytime France has put together a little bit of a glimmer like this, Germany has roared back and shown their dominance in this game. They got the lead to 18 at the moment. Volts Vicups chiming in with France doesn't look very convincing this Olympics. Near defeat against Japan was a big red flag. And I mean, right? I mean, we know that now. That's an easy statement to make now, right? You thought maybe France overlooked Japan. They were looking ahead to Germany. I think France, what they showed against Japan, that's kind of who they are. So 8.5 minutes left. 69-51. Germany in front here. See if Germany made any adjustments to try and free up things. Maybe try and take less air out of the ball and just keep on adding. It's been a good approach for them. Valtzvikup says, unless they meet in the semifinals, I think USA-Germany is going to be the final here. Be an intriguing matchup. It was a single-digit contest between the two when they met in the pre-Olympic friendlies. Korndiner pulls up, a little bank shot. So this nice stretch continues. A little life for Team France here, but still a lot of work to do inside of 8 minutes now. 69-53. Brandon Katz says, point differential important for seeding. Yeah, France is in some trouble if they get blown out. So even if they don't come on back and win this game, which we don't foresee happening, they'd like to make it close. So where the point differential can positively influence their potential future, the potentiality of their future, as the great Mike Wozniak would say. Slow Late Show says that Germany USA potential matchup rematch 80 years in the making. Oh, I remember that first one like it was yesterday. Korndiner, oh my. Well, he is just taking over this fourth. Where was this guy the first 3 quarters for France? He is on a heater right now. He's got it down to 69-55. Wearing number 8 for France. And yes, he is balling. Ain't no half Stefan. Dennis Schroeder will try and silence the French here as he gets knocked to the floor. The ball gets knocked loose. We talked about it. The officials really letting him play here. And we'll get a jump ball with 2 seconds left on the shot clock for Germany. Finally something for the French to make some noise about in this game. Again, we'll see if it's too little too late. But a burst here from France. Can they at least make the closing minutes a little interesting? Seven minutes left. France has the basketball, trailing by 14. Well, that was a heat check. Korndiner let it fly and missed off the front rim. Valtzvikup says tomorrow's Serbia-South Sudan game is going to be interesting. If we're talking by rankings and all that, Greece might be safe for the quarterfinals if Serbia wins, unless South Sudan pulls off some heroics. I do think South Sudan, if they can shoot it from the outside like they have been in some of the exhibitions, I do think South Sudan has a crack at taking down Serbia. I think they're more athletic. I think they've got a little more depth than Serbia. I thought they put up an overall better fight for the most part against the U.S. I mean, if it wasn't for Kevin Durant's heroics off the bench against Serbia, I still think the U.S. kind of rolls in that game. Angelo's talking about cooking show. Yeah, hoo-hoo. GGWP, one of the great cooking shows. All right, so 6:48 left. 14-point lead for Germany. French fans are in it. Korndiner has had a huge fourth quarter to try and fuel at least a hope of a comeback. France ball here after that missed shot. And it leads to another French dunk. Uh-oh, this was a 12-point game. But does it really feel like it's slipping away from Germany? I don't think so yet. 6.5 to play. France has put together this flurry we've long talked about in this game. That's an open corner triple, and it settles in. That's what I'm talking about. When you have this type of advantage this late in the game, you hit a three like that, it feels like a backbreaker. All of a sudden, the advantage balloons back to 15. A glide down the lane, pops off the rim, offensive rebound, and a putback. Well, the energy is there for France. They looked very deflated the first 3 quarters of this game. And on this remarkable run, for the most part, without Victor Wembanyama. Maybe resting him for the stretch run. What can he do? What can he add down the stretch? France is just playing much more aggressive here, but that was a big corner tray to grow this lead back to 15. Amon Robertson wondering what the Wemby point total is. Still stuck on 7. Only 7 points in this game for Victor Wembanyama. Not on the floor right now. Inside of 6 minutes left on this fourth quarter clock. Schroeder, nice dump down, leads to a 2-hand rim rocker. Dennis Schroeder continuing to create. The lead is 15 again. 5.5 minutes to play. Got a foul away from the ball. It's on Schroeder. Ain't no half. Steffen says Rudy stays getting cooked on defense. That's where you might want to think about bringing Wemby back into this game to help the efforts defensively. Maybe even swap Rudy and Wemby. Step back 3 way off. Schroeder rebounds. 5 minutes left. 15-point lead for Germany. High arcing three-pointer settles in right over the outstretched arm of Gobert. Ain't no half. Steffen hit the spam button. And that kind of feels like the dagger. They balloon this lead back to 18, 4:30-ish left. I don't even see France scoring 18 more points in this game. They're not going to hold Germany to nothing the rest of the way. This one cooked, glazed, and just about ready to be sliced. All right, so 4.5 minutes left. Feels academic at this point. Do you guys feel like Germany has the best chance at a potential win over the United States? Let us know in the chat. We'll have a nice family discussion. Free throws good. 77-61 the count with 4 and change left on this fourth quarter clock. Franz Wagner to the bench. Like, is that it for him? Right now, Bonga on the floor, Daniel Theis, Dennis Schroeder. So still some starters out there for Germany. Wagner bros on the bench. As Schroeder drives and kicks, Theis going to set and fire for 3. Yes, sir. All smiles from Germany, up 19 now with 4 minutes left. Wemby's back on the floor, but too little too late. Now you just have to hope Wemby has a flurry here if you took over on some of his props. JM had Gobert over 8 rebounds. Oh, well, Germany didn't miss enough shots. There's a 3 for Wemby, so he's up to 10. 10 points for Wemby, well shy of where a lot of people had him in this game. And now a reach-in foul on Schroeder. It's on France with 3:36 left. Trying to do whatever they can to disrupt Dennis Schroeder and all his great playmaking. Be kind of fun to see Schroeder and Braun go at it. Remember they traded remember when ice in his veins was that opening night? It was a big game, I remember. Maybe a playoff game. Dennis Schroeder hit a big shot for the Lakers when he was with the Lakers and LeBron. Tice crashing the offensive glass. France saves it in, and Wemby kind of volleyballs it to himself. 16-point game, just shy of 3 minutes left, and a step-back baseline 2 will fall. So 80-66 the count here. Schroeder drives off the glass, around and down. Dennis Schroeder just ridiculous. Is he going to, for real, be a problem against the USA? I'm starting to think so. Who are you defensively? Drew Holiday. It's a great matchup. Like, that's why you have Drew on the team. Wemby, there's a 3. 13 for Wemby. Low flurry. That's what a lot of y'all needed here. That's why a lot of y'all are still clocked in to a game that seems pretty decided. Marco Zambelli saying, yeah, Wemby's starting to score, but it's too late. Yeah, I think it's too late. Remember, France, there's a point differential thing that looms kind of large here. Schroeder banks in a step-back 3. Tip your cap to the young fella. A little to Dennis Schroeder. Heck of a game for Germany. 26 piece for Schroeder. Meanwhile, Wemby lobs it up. Bad pass. Out of bounds. And it kind of feels like Germany can sleepwalk these final minute 45 seconds on the clock. Jeff Holm said, Wemby only got 13, bro. I needed him to have 19. Yeah, I don't know who had Wemby at such a low total. I mean, he could hit a couple threes here maybe. He's got a good-looking stroke right now. I don't know why he even thought of passing up on that last possession. I mean, just heat check it at this point. Mohammed Ilham says, hey, Germany's just different now. Schroeder misses the floater. Wemby grabs the rebound, immediately turns it over. France, as they have been for much of this game, kind of asleep at the wheel. Just shy of a minute left. Dennis Schroeder got hit with a technical foul that put Wembanyama up to 14 points now. All right, so inside of a minute, Germany's going to win this one. We'll see what the future holds for France. I think a lot of that's going to have to do with other point totals in other games. I think France is going to, if they get another shot to play here, they're going to be playing with the chip on their shoulder. Jeff Hullum's hoping in this final minute, Wemby can deliver 5 big points. Uchiha called it from the start. Said France never had a chance in this game. Germany's underrated. Feels like they're the only team that could potentially beat the United States. All right, into our final half minute here. Make sure to join us throughout the Olympics. We'll be bringing you these chat parties on FIBA, the basketball channel. Hit subscribe before you head out. We're about to head out here as Germany salts this one away. A dominant victory for the Germans over France. They took the lead about midway through the first quarter, and they never looked back. Franz Wagner, Dennis Schroeder, two monster games from two of the biggest names on the Team Germany squad. And Wagner and Schroeder will leave to a nice ovation from the German fans in Paris. Unfortunately, Wemby's going to fall short of a lot of those props. Just a dominant defensive outing. Yeah, they did more than enough, did Germany. 85-71, your final score. Thanks for joining us. Again, please subscribe here to FIBA, the basketball channel. If you want to find me on social media, we could keep talking Olympics beyond the chat. I'm at Chris Sylvester _ on X, C Sylvester PBP on Instagram. Let's connect on there. Until next time, thanks for watching. 85-71, Germany. Outstanding game here as they knock off France. Lots of pesos, it's cold. I brought a bag of dollars, now give me pesos. Ha.